there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today is another trying to fix video, and in this video we're going to be trying to fix this PS3 Slim. So this is model number 3003A, and the problem with this one is it says no power. I swapped the PSU out for a known working system, still didn't work. Tested this PSU in other system, A-OK. Sorry, forgot to put the plug socket back in. So basically the power supply has been checked and it's not the power supply, so it's something else causing this. So we're going to take it apart, put this back in it just to verify the lights, see what's happening, and take it from there. So this was sent to me by Mike from One Up Gaming, and this unfortunately is the last one in the package of 40 items. So the Atari Jaguar, got that working somehow. Don't know actually what I did to fix that, but now it's working fine. Game Boy Advance SP, that was working. I love doing that one. That was a really good one, the fault on that one. Mega Drive game I couldn't get working. I'm pretty sure it's a fault with the actual main ROM chips. Nintendo Switch, working, still working. I enjoyed that one very much. Multimeter I didn't need to do in a video because it was all working okay. So now, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So out of 5 items, I've got 3 working. And let's see if we can get the 4th one working. So the PS3 Slim, it would be nice to have 4 out of the 5 items working. So I'm just going to quickly take it apart, plug this back into it, and then let's see exactly what's happening, whether there's no lights or be interesting to see what's going to be wrong with this if it's not a power supply problem. So let's undo these screws and get this back in, plug it in and see what's happening. Okay, so I've got the 240 volts going into it here, but I've got no lights coming up here. All these cables were undone, but even if I do put them all back on, then I've still got absolutely nothing on these lights here. So what should happen is we've got 240 volts coming in. This should be 5 volts here, and we should always have 5 volts here. Then when we turn it on here, it tells the power supply to put on 12 volts via 2 big metal prongs that you'll see later in the video. Now, the weird thing is, sometimes I seem to have 5 volts and sometimes I don't. So look, I've definitely got 240 volts coming in here. So if I go over here, now remember I'm keeping my hands well clear, 240 volts. Don't copy what you see in the videos. If I was to touch that I would be electrocuted. So now I should have 5 volts here. But look, if I, this is weird. So now if I was to go, for example, maybe I'm not getting a good enough connection, but if I was to go between here and here, can you see I've got nothing? Go on the second one, I've got nothing, and go on that one there, again I have nothing. Now if I was to, for example, go on the middle two, I also have nothing. But watch this now. If I unplug this and now go on here, you can see at this moment in time I've still got nothing. Yet we know we've got 240 volts coming into it. Yeah? Look. There's nothing there. Yeah? So let's unplug this and go straight onto the pins. Nothing. 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 And nothing. So you're going to think it's a faulty power supply. But watch this. Let's unplug it. Unplug it back in again. And now I probably will have something. No, there's still nothing. But earlier on, I was showing. This was coming up as 5.5 volts. So that is already very strange. I'm just going to unplug it. Definitely got 240 volts coming in. Let's just remove this completely from here now. Let's just double check our connection. So we've got a good connection here, and we have a good connection here. These are the 12 volt pins, the holes for the pins to go into. So I should definitely have 5 volts on these ones at the bottom here. They should always be there. So let's try that again now. There we go. Isn't that weird? 5.3 volts. And they weren't there a minute ago. 5.5, 5.3, yeah, 4.7, 4.5 minus 4.5. So what's going on here? let's unplug it again. Unless maybe my prongs are shorting out between them. Yeah, 5.3 you see. So already it looks like a bit of a strange one. Let's plug that in there. Let's get a reading on this side and then it shows the leads are okay. There you go, 4.7. 4.5. 5.3. Yeah, so that shows that the leads are okay. So I'm just going to unplug it again. I'm going to place it back in here. I won't plug it in yet. Let's just... So now the 12 volt side is connected, but remember it's only when we short these pins that we should get something there. So now let's go on to here. Again, you can see 4.7 volts. Let's go between that one and that one. 4.7. 4.1. So where's my 5.5 gone? .3. Okay, so now let's plug this into here, but look, we won't have any lights lighting up. And now, see, there's nothing here. And now let's go back on here and let's see now if we have anything. There you go. How weird is that? 4.7. 5.5. Isn't that strange? But yet the time before we didn't have that. So I'm going to unplug it now. And now plug it back in. And there's nothing. I haven't moved those leads. What is going on? But even when we have the 5.5, we're not having the leads, the lights here. Already I'm massively confused. My leads are fully in there and now I haven't got anything. Let's unplug it and plug it in again. You see why I'm confused already? How weird is that? So I've got nothing there now. So I'm on the outer one, I'm on the bottom one and the... so let's call the bottom pin here number 1. I'm on pin 1 and pin 3. Yeah. And we know the lead's okay because we've already, proved that when it's unplugged. But anyway, this would be the same as me going here and here. See, there's nothing there now. There won't be anything on any of them. So now unplug it. Unplug it from the mains. Cells on the bottom one. And the third one here. I'm going to plug it in. There you go, 5.5 again. So is it when it's plugging into the board that sometimes it shorts it out, and disappears it, and as a safety thing this is cutting out. I'm just going to unplug it again. Yeah, that's there. Okay, so now let's try to plug this in while putting pressure on it. See that? See, it jumped down straight away, didn't it? And now when I plug it out, well, mind you, I'm not on it anymore. Ah, there you go. See, we've got 5.5 volts there now. Oh, I'm already confused because I don't understand why sometimes we have it and sometimes we don't. So unplug it. I hate faults that are inconsistent. Right, so we've got nothing there now. Plug it back in. And nothing there. Unplug it. and plug it back in. Right, now let's take this out. So we've definitely got nothing there. Take that out now, put pressure on it here, still in the same ones. Nothing there, unplug it, plug it back in, and we've got something. So look, there must be something on the board that's making it work sometimes and not other times. So let's unplug it completely. It's going to be sort of very hard for me to trace this now, I think, because it'd be different if every time it touched the board it stopped, but that's not the case. Let's just see if we've got any short or anything between those pins there. Well, on that last pin, the 5.5, look, we've got 2.2 kilo ohms. I wonder, see, that might be normal. Let's strip it down and see what we can see. Might become obvious. There might be something burnt or something. So they're the 12-volt prongs there, you see. So I'm just going to take the board out completely. Everything is so clean on this. Well, that did not want to come off at all, so it's probably fresh thermal paste on there, I would say. Yeah. Okay, so now we have to work out why we haven't got anything from here going down to here. Now, I had one of these before that had the faulty Wi-Fi module, but it wasn't actually the Wi-Fi module that was what it was burnt, it was gone. But it was one of these little regulator ones that was pushing through a little spike of voltage that was frying it. So yeah, I never got it working. Okay, let's also take out the front ribbon cable thing here. I was just wondering whether it was possible to put this in the wrong way. So on the ribbon cable, if you have a look here, can you see you can only see contacts on one side. So on this one you can't get it wrong because the contacts are by my fingertip here. There's no contacts on the other one. Weirdly, when you look at this one here, it looks like it's designed to go in both ways because we have contacts at the top and contacts at the bottom. So just in case it is to do with something to do with the you know, the ribbon cables being put in wrong, I'm just going to plug it in one way and then try it the other way. Right, so let's try that now. And then see if the light comes on. I'm going to plug it in now. Right, so there's nothing happening that way. I'm going to unplug it. I'm just going to turn it around the other way. And plug it back in. Right, there's nothing happening that way either. Right, so I'm unplugging it, make sure it's safe to work on. So I'm just going to put my meter on diode test. I just want to make sure that the LED itself is actually working. Okay, so that's diode test there. And that would put a small amount of voltage through my leads, which hopefully might be enough to light up the LED. There we go. Okay, so we've got a red light there. Oh, there we go, that's the green light. So green light's at the bottom, red light's at the top. So it looks like the LED itself is okay. Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to trace, using continuity, down from these pins down to this area down to this area here, go across a few capacitors and stuff, see if I can see any shorts. So I'm presuming if we've got 5 volts going in that there must be some sort of shorts stopping it from actually working. So I'm just going to look for shorts on the capacitors. Actually, do you know what I didn't check for? See if there's any power in the USBs. So let's just plug this back in. Right, so my controller's not charging. Yeah, so it looks like that 5 volts isn't going through the board. Well, I found a shorted capacitor, and I think this is the same problem I had before with the Wi-Fi chip, because if you have a look, it's fed from this side of the board here, and if I put one of my leads to a ground, look at this one here. You see it's shorting top and bottom, and that's going up to the Wi-Fi card, and from memory it was this little thing here that caused the surge, because the 5 volts comes up to here, and I think this reduces it down. I can't remember now, I'd have to watch back my other video. I did 2 videos on it. Basically I did the video and then I did a revisit video when I bought a new Wi-Fi card, and I put it on and basically there was no shorts, and I thought brilliant, you know, there's no shorts here now. And then as soon as I turned it on, bang, the short came again. I blew the next Wi-Fi card, and the Wi-Fi module wasn't cheap. I think it was about 15 quid or £20 or something like that. Yet when I took away the Wi-Fi module, it's all coming back to me now, it worked, but I couldn't update it, because what my reasoning was is, who cares about Wi-Fi, we can just use it with the Ethernet. But unfortunately the PlayStation 3 does a check for all the components, and when it was updating, when it got to the state, when it got to the bit where it had the Wi-Fi thing on, looking for the Wi-Fi card, it then would fail the update. So I reckon now, if I was to get some hot air and take off this capacitor, the pads underneath would still be shorting. I could be lucky, it could be just a capacitor, but I've got a feeling it's going to be the Wi-Fi card. And it's this little thing here from memory, that what's happening is, I could measure that now when I put, let's say if I take the Wi-Fi card off, I'll measure this one here, and it would have, for example, 5 volts going into it and 3.3 coming out. I'm making up those figures, I can't remember exactly what they were. So you think everything's okay. But what people said in the last video in the comments was that if I was to put my scope on it, what I'd probably see is that for maybe a second, it's spiking up to 5 volts or 6 volts or something. Well, maybe 5 volts, and that's enough to fry. Even though it's only for a split second, that's enough to fry the Wi-Fi card. So I think this one here is not going to be a repairable one, because I'm sure by taking it off I will get it to turn on. It's just that I won't be actually able to do anything, unless, I'm just thinking now, I don't think the other one had a hard drive in it. This has got a hard drive, so would it be possible to just not update it, I wonder? Maybe I could just not. I'm getting a bit confused now, if I'm honest with you, because it was quite a while ago, and obviously I'll go through a lot of fixes, and unless you're doing it day in, day out on the same thing, you kind of forget what's what. But this is definitely coming back to me now more. So I'm going to get my hot air station, I'm going to take off that capacitor there, and then if that doesn't work, I'm going to have to heat up this Wi-Fi card here and take that off, and then we should find, hopefully, that that short is now gone, and then maybe the system will turn on. It's such a shame that they have that kind of security thing to say that if it can't see the Wi-Fi card, then the console will not update, which is really annoying because a lot of people might be more than happy, like someone like myself, to use a wired connection, which is always going to be a better connection anyway. It seems a shame because you kind of made something near enough useless. Well, my old one was useless because it didn't have a hard drive and I couldn't update it without it. So it's made it useless for the sake of some sort of like security feature. Right, it came off nice and easy. Let's see if the pads are shorted. Yep, the pads are still shorted. So now we're going to take the Wi-Fi, we're going to put that capacitor back on, we're going to take the Wi-Fi chip off the other side. Do you know what, I'm just sort of thinking now. Let's just say if there was a slim possibility that, because I'm just going by what happened last time, but so this whole thing is ground here. So in theory, if that resistor, I'm a bit confused actually why there's a resistor between ground and one of the rails. Do you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking I'd better take the components off because just on the slim chance, I'm sure it is going to be the Wi-Fi card, but I better take the other components off just in case it's not, because by taking off the Wi-Fi card it's final and I can take off these other components without it being final. So let's zoom right in and get rid of everything from here. Right, do I need to take off anything else? That's going down to there. So hold on, is this also linked here? These are also linking down, aren't they? Just move them off. There we go. Right, okay, so now that rail now is completely separate from everything else, isn't it? Because it just goes up here and across there, so it's not being joined anywhere else. So this inductor thing is only going to that leg of the chip here, and the chip is no longer connected to anything, so that can't be shorted anywhere. So I'm just going to wait until my hot air noise goes away, because what I've done is I've actually taken the loudness out of my multimeter here, because I've got so many complaints about it being so noisy. I've muffled it down by putting foam and stuff over the speakers, the speaker holes, and also putting a bit of tape over the speaker. Problem is now it doesn't really go over the noise off the hot air. Okay, it's finally gone off. So now let's have a look here. Yeah, so it's still there, you see. So now it has to be the Wi-Fi card. So everything on this rail up here is shorting. Yeah, so this is ground here already. This is ground. So now this is shorting through here, which it shouldn't be, but look, it can't go anywhere else. Yeah, this is ground through here. So that's only shorting through here because of this rail. Right, do you know what I'm wondering? Rather than taking the Wi-Fi card off, I wonder would I get away now with just firing it up now? Because look, although that short is there, it's not doing anything now. Can you see it's completely disconnected from the board? So for example, if I was to go lower down, and if I was to go back onto the shorts, well, let's see this capacitor underneath it now. Is it this one? Yeah, you see? The shorts have gone. So let's just put these safely to one side for the moment. There we go. And yeah, let's get some power back into this board. I'm just going to give it a quick clean here just to get rid of all the stickiness with some IPA. Right, it's nice and clean there again. Okay, now I'm not actually going to power it on, I'm just going to see if the red light comes on. So let's plug it in. Yay! Red light, excellent. There we go, red light. Okay, so I'm going to put this back together and then we'll power it on when we've got the GPU and the CPU with the heat sinks on it and stuff like that. But look, we definitely didn't have that before, so it looks like that short there was knocking it out. Let's get this back together. Right, what I've done with the old components is I've put them in sticky tape, so I've put a bit of tape down, stuck them on in the correct orientation and also in the correct layout, so that's the correct layout there. So in the future, if I ever revisit this, I know where to put them back and which orientation and stuff. But obviously this chip here will need replacing because essentially what's happening is this is the tiny little chip which is going faulty, and because that's going faulty it's knocking out the bigger Wi-Fi chip. It's just that by the time you realise this one's gone faulty, it's already knocked out your Wi-Fi chip, which is a real shame. So if this has happened to me twice with my very limited amount that I've done on PlayStation 3 Slims, I wonder how many other PlayStation 3 Slims there are worldwide where this chip has caused exactly the same problem. There must be thousands upon thousands if I've now had two of them in the space of a year, and I've only done, how many PlayStation 3 Slims have I done? 3 or 4? I don't even know, maybe not even that. So yeah, right, let's get the rest of it back together. Right, that is it, all back together. Now let's connect it up to a TV and let's see if it's working. For example, the disk drive might be faulty or there might be numerous other problems on it. Okay, I'm on the correct input. So let's plug it in. We've got the red light. Let's just zoom in and see if we get the green light. Here goes. Okay, it's gone to green. I can hear the fan. Now let's see if anything's going to come up on screen. Something's going to happen. 1080p. Haha, there we go. Brilliant. Right, now let's plug in the controller. This controller, the battery is completely flat. Let's just see now if it's going to plug in. See if it's going to sync up. Set the date and time, that's just because I removed the battery earlier. Is it going to connect up this? Yeah, it does. Okay, I didn't get a chance to set the time because I just hit that by mistake. Right, now, I suppose what would be nice is if this was on the latest firmware update. The thing is, I don't know, are they even still updating the PlayStation 3 or has that all ended? I need to find out now what update this is on. Automatic updates off, that's fine. System name. System information. Right, so it's version 4.5, free space 102 gigabytes out of 149. So I'm just going to get my phone, I'm going to see what version is the latest version on the PlayStation 3. Because if that was the latest version, that'd be fantastic, because this would just work perfectly then. So I don't know about the date of this one, but they did release one in just very recently, March the 31st, 2020, and that's 4.86. So I don't know whether there was a 4.85, a 4.80, 4.75, or whether it just went from 4.5 upwards. Well, anyway, let's not worry about that, because I mean the PlayStation 3's getting old now anyway for to be supported. So let's put the disc in, and let's see if that's going to load up. Yeah, it's recognised it. And while that's loading up, I'm just going to go get an Ethernet cable, plug it in, and let's just see if I can get any sort of anything online whatsoever. Right, so that's loaded up fine now, but my controller is not working wirelessly, so when I take this out it doesn't sync up. So I'm just wondering whether this is just a charging cable and not a data one. So I'm just going to plug in another USB. The problem is I don't actually know if this one is a charging and data, because it needs 4 wires, you see, 2 for charging and 2 for data, and a lot of the cables only have 2 wires for charging. Let's see if this one's going to sync up. Right, now let's see if this stays synced up. No. So is that Wi-Fi chip also to do with the controller as well? Let me get another controller just to mess around with this for a bit, and another cable. Right, I found another lead and another controller, and I definitely know that this lead has all 4 pins connected, so let's see what happens now. Well, saying that, the other one must have had it connected, otherwise it wouldn't be working just over the data, would it? Right, so that's synced up there. No. So it looks like maybe that chip is also responsible for connecting up the controllers. I thought that was purely just Wi-Fi. Yeah, player 2. So it's recognised it as a second controller. But unfortunately they're going to have to be using a wired controllers. Battery's completely gone on that one. Right, okay, I'll have to have a think about that. Right, let's see if the actual game's working itself. Well, okay, so that appears to be working
appears to be working just fine. So now the controller issue to me is quite a big deal, because fair enough, Ethernet cable, no bother. You know, you're going to be getting a better connection through the Ethernet cable anyway. But the fact that the controllers are wired rather than wireless is actually quite it's a bit of a game changer as far as this kind of fix is concerned. So I just want to try something with one of those Magic NS adapters, just to see, for example, if we can get a PlayStation 4 controller working wirelessly, or maybe even a PlayStation 3 controller working wirelessly when we use it via an adapter. So I'm just going to mess around with that for a bit, and then I'm going to check see if it's going to connect to the internet. Right, good news, it connects up wirelessly. So I've got my Magic NS adapter in here, and I've set it to the blue mode, not the light blue but the dark blue mode. And you can see here, it says at the back here that you can connect your controllers to your Nintendo Switch, PS3 or PC system. So I've plugged it in here, mini USB into here just to sync it up, and now you see you can disconnect the USB cable, and that's just working wirelessly to here. So this still thinks there's a wired connection, but this is just wirelessly between here and here. So if you have a look now, if I was to go to PlayStation here, you can see now I can move around the place. Right, so let's just do a little bit of gameplay. Good thing about these is, I know people will say, oh, but you're going to add lag. Yes, but it's tiny. I don't think anybody would actually notice it. Right, so now you can see, let's just a little cart here, hold on. Right, look. Oops, didn't even see that. So that's a nice little way to get around it. So if you've got this problem at home, you can see that actually it's not ideal, but you would be able to get it sorted in a roundabout way. I know it'd be better just to fix it completely, but look, I can't see any real downside of using the Magic NS adapter. It's obviously not going to be as good as just having it working natively with the PlayStation 3, but it's a nice little workaround, isn't it? And also it means you can use things like your PlayStation 4 controllers on it as well, if you wanted to. Right, let's check the internet. Okay, so when I went to a wired connection, it started doing this, and it says IP address succeeded, internet connection succeeded, but you see PSN, and it says here at the bottom, a system software update is required. Go to settings, system update, and perform the update, but obviously I can't perform the update. So I'm just going to see if there's any way that I can just sort of connect to the browser or whatever through the internet connection without updating. Okay, I've been messing around with this. Unfortunately, nothing on the internet works. So, for example, if I went to Spotify, it would just say I need a system update. If I went into Netflix, it allows me to download it. But then when I actually try to go into it, then again, it says I need to go back to settings and do the software update. So this PlayStation 3 is definitely limited in what it can do. But saying that, you can still play games. So considering beforehand it did nothing, it didn't even give you the luxury of the red light, and now it allows you to play games. It is a fix, but it's not a very good fix. It's more of a workaround. But at least no money was spent on it, and it would be possible to get this up and running, but I'm not going to get it fully fixed just now. I'm not going to buy the parts to do it. But what I will do is, in the future, if I get another PlayStation 3 Slim, or a joblot of them, and one might have, for example, like a faulty CPU or GPU, or maybe it's beyond repair for another reason, then I'll take the Wi-Fi module out of that, and the little chip, put them in here, and then hopefully it will be up and running again. But I'm not going to pay eBay prices and wait for a chip to come from China, or however much it's going to cost to get. I estimate it's going to cost £25 in parts, but of course it's going to take a serious amount of time, and it's a BGA chip, so there's a chance then it might not work, just like it didn't work before. So I'd rather leave it until I kind of have a few of these as spares with donor boards, and then it will allow me to do it for free, or at least have more than one attempt at it. So you might see this in the future fully working, but right now I still think this is a worthwhile thing to do. There must be thousands of these around the world that are just pushed up into people's attics or garages or in the back of cupboards gathering dust because they don't know what's wrong with it. Maybe they tried swapping out the power supply, spending £20 on eBay for one, it didn't work, and then they gave up. And the truth of the matter is it's the Wi-Fi card that's putting a short on it, which is stopping it from working.
no Wi-Fi module. So if I've gone through 2 of them, there must be loads and loads out there. So I still think it's a worthwhile fix, even though you can't go online. But saying that, how long is online going to be supported for? I haven't looked into it on the PlayStation 3. Remember, we're going to be moving over to the PS5 soon, so I presume the PlayStation 3 online is going to be coming to an end soon. In which case, then, this it makes it worthwhile. Another thing I haven't looked into is obviously a lot of people hack their systems. Maybe you can still get it up and running via having homebrew on it, just with your Ethernet cable. All possibilities for future use, rather than just have it gathering dust or going into landfills somewhere. So yeah, I quite like this one, because it was exactly the same as what I did before, near enough. It's just that before I didn't have the hard drive, but because this already had the hard drive in it, I don't have to do any updates. So this doesn't know that the Wi-Fi module isn't working, hence the reason you can still use it. So it's really good. But obviously, if the hard drive's missing, there's no point in doing what I did today, because you just go in the endless loop of trying to update it, going through all the steps of putting the software on the USB and putting it in there. It will never work, because it keeps hanging up when it's looking for the Wi-Fi module. But the hard drive's in there. What a nice little fixie stroke workaround just to get you up and running again, playing your PlayStation 3 games. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. So big thumbs up to Mike for sending this one along with all the others. I think it has to be the best job lot I've ever had. Every one of them have been interesting. Every one. None of them have been just easy, like cleaning battery contacts. They've all been really interesting thoughts, which makes for the best videos, even if they can be a bit time consuming. So yeah, thanks a lot for that, Mike. And yeah, thanks to everybody else for watching it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you do know about, for example, let's say if I was try to update this and it failed, would it revert back to the software I'm on now, or would I end up bricking it because it keeps trying to find the new software? If you know the answer to that, please put it down in the comments, because obviously I don't want to risk it on this one, because then if it doesn't revert back to this, I'm stuck with another bricked PlayStation 3 Slim. So yeah, and the other thing I'm curious about is, why is it not working wirelessly? Is it because I've removed the chip? Does that tiny little chip, not the module, but the tiny little chip, does that also power the Bluetooth? Because I thought this would have been Bluetooth. Or is that Wi-Fi module Bluetooth and Wi-Fi built into one? Maybe it does both. So if you know the answer to either one of those things, or both of them, please add it to the comments below, and I'll have a little read of that when the video gets released. So yeah, thank you everybody. I hope you're taking care of yourself, and I will see you soon. Bye now.